The Global Media Monitoring Project is the world's largest effort to monitor the representation of women and men in the world's news media. Launched in 1995, the GMMP is coordinated by the World Association for Christian Communication, known as WAC, a global network of communicators based in Toronto, Canada. The GMMP is a one-day study conducted every 5 years to monitor the representation of women and men in that day's world news media. Monitoring teams are made up of volunteers, communications professionals, individuals such as university researchers and journalism students, civil society organizations, media professionals, and their associations. In January 1995, the first GMMP research was conducted in 71 countries. 50,000 radio, television, and newspaper stories were analyzed. Results of the study found that 17% of people featured in the news were women, 83% were men. In radio alone, only 15% of people featured were women. 5 years later, in February 2000, the second GMMP research was conducted in 70 countries, and 16,000 news stories were analyzed. The research found that only 18% of the news subjects were women, 82% were men. The results indicated that women's representation in the news media had increased by 1% only in 5 years. The third GMMP research was held in February 2005 in 76 countries, and about 13,000 news stories on television, radio, and newspapers were analyzed. Results revealed that 21% of news subjects were women. The results of the fourth GMMP research were released in the report Who Makes the News on September 29, 2010. The GMMP 2010 research covered 108 countries and about 18,000 news stories. A new component of monitoring, the Internet, was added with this year's report. The results show improvement. The 2010 study found that 24% of people featured in the news were women, 76% were men. According to this study, women are inching closer to parity as providers of popular opinion in news stories. Today, 44% of the people providing popular opinion in news stories are female, compared to 34% in 2005. But significant gender bias still exists. 46% of news stories reinforce gender stereotypes. 13% of news stories focus centrally on women. Women in occupations outside the home are not represented in proportions to their real presence in society. Only 10% of scientists, 17% of legal professionals, and 31% of educators in the news are women. Expert commentary is overwhelmingly male, with only one female in every 5 experts. And the age of women in the news is mentioned twice as often, and family status almost 4 times as often as for men. A comparison of the results from the 4 GMMP research in 1995, 2000, 2005, and 2010 indicates a change in the gender dimensions of news media is small and slow. Only a 7% increase of women in the news has been achieved since 1995. The idea of the GMMP arose at the first ever International Conference on Women in Communication, entitled Women Empowering Communication, held in Bangkok in 1994. The conference was organized by WAC in collaboration with ISIS International and the International Women's Tribune Center. The conference also influenced the Beijing Platform for Action, adopted unanimously at the United Nations 4th World Conference on Women in 1995. Section J of the Platform for Action focuses on women in the media and has two strategic objectives. 1. To increase the participation and access of women to expression and decision-making in and through the media and new technologies of communication. 2. To promote a balanced and non-stereotyped portrayal of women in the media. Many organizations today use Section J in their professional, lobbying, and advocacy work, and the GMMP is one of the initiatives based on these principles. Aidan White, the General Secretary of the International Federation of Journalists, has said that gender portrayal is a professional and ethical aspiration of journalism similar to respect for accuracy, fairness, and honesty. It is now 15 years since all nations made a commitment to promote fair and non-stereotyped media portrayal of women. In many ways, the gender and communication landscape has changed dramatically. Much has been achieved, but many challenges still remain. It is for this reason that the World Association for Christian Communication, together with media professionals and gender and communication activists, continue to work through the GMMP project together to advocate and lobby for fair and balanced representation of women and men in the news. To learn more about the project, visit www.whomakesthenews.org.